Hi, I'm Christine. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I have a historical romance book haul. Alright, so as you know, I love historical romances, my favorite subgenre to read, and so I also love collecting historical romances. I love reading historical romances, I love collecting them as well. Sometimes those go interchangeably, like I collect the books that I read and love, but also sometimes I just collect books because they're gorgeous and beautiful and I want to own physical copies of them. So I do have a mixture of all the things. Some I collect just because of the covers, they're stunning, and then some of the others are ones I want to read. Some I have read and loved, and so I wanted those physical copies of them. So I have 25 historical romances to haul today. Before I put them on my shelves, I decided to film a video and show them all off because they're stunning and gorgeous and I love them so much. All of these are used books, so some of these in the haul are going to be from my book bestie. She sent me a bunch of ones that she had extras of or was getting rid of or any of those things, or ones she knew I was collecting, so I'm excited to show those, as well as the rest I found at local used bookstores around where I live and on some of my road trip adventures this summer as well. So I'm so excited to jump into it. So let's get into it. All right, so first up I have two gorgeous books from Linda Ladd. One of her books, Lilacs on Lace, is one that I read earlier this spring and absolutely loved. It's one of my favorites of the year. And so she's an author that I've actually always collected her books. That's how I had Lilacs on Lace for a few years, as well as any other times I see her other books, I want to pick them up because I definitely want to read more from her. All right, first up, both of these are actually from the Ribbon Avon Romance Collection. So first up we have Dreamsong. Such a stunning one. The blue, the gold, absolutely gorgeous and so stinking pretty. The next one is Moonspell, again from the Avon Romance Ribbon Collection. Like, I love any with water, especially like, look how gorgeous. Like, I swear they don't make book covers like they used to. Just the water on her dress, like sticking to her. Just such a stunner. I wish publishers still made covers like this, especially for historical romances. It's so sad that publishers are actually getting rid of artists that they've worked with. I know an artist recently was let go from, I think, Avon Romance. He'd worked with them for 50 plus years, which is just such a tragedy. And I love just like collecting historical romances because of the fact that like you can't get covers made like this anymore. So like, I don't know, they're just like precious to me. All right, and then the next one is Golden Nights by Kristen Monson. This is an author that I've actually been wanting to read and I've been collecting her books for years as well. The gold on here, like I am a gold girl, so any gold shiny thing will grab my attention. And the couple on here, like the windswept with the water feature, just absolutely stunning. This one says it's in the magnificent Colorado mountains that they find desire's richest treasure. So just so sneaking pretty. It says a fiery lady, a handsome scoundrel, and a passion that set the West ablaze. Just like the taglines, the blurbs, the covers, they don't make them how they used to. All right, the next three are all from Jude Deveraux. So actually I'm a co-host for a historical romance book club where we read historical romances published before the year 2000. And so in December, I think, our book club pick is going to be Velvet Angel by Jude Deveraux. And so I was already looking for this book. And so when I was looking this book up, I found out that it is the fourth and final book in a Highlander medieval series. And so a lot of people were saying you should probably read the series in order, as well as like I'm not opposed to reading a whole series to get to a book. So I love that idea. So I was on the lookout for this book and happened to find it at a local used bookstore. And it is just so pretty. Like, let me get up close in here. The details of like these little scenes on the bottom, as well as the raised typography on here. Just so pretty, the way it shines, absolutely stunning. What I love about some of these older historical romances, they have the whole like wraparound scene and they have art on the back as well. It's just so stinking stunning. This book was published, I think, just a few years before I was born. Yes, 1983. So I am excited to get to this Velvet series by Jude Deveraux. I already had one of her books, and so I ended up actually finding the other three as well. So like I mentioned, that one is book 4. That's actually the one we're reading for our book club in December. And then I wanted to track down the others. And so I actually found Velvet Song the same day that I picked up that one at the same store. So here is this gorgeous cover. I love the pop of blue on the heroine's dress and the way that the metallic blue shines on the font. Just so pretty. Again, we have that like full wraparound type of situation and then a little character art on the back as well. Again, this is part of her, is it Highland Velvet or Velvet series? Something like that. Then recently at another used bookstore I went to actually just this past weekend, so a couple weeks apart, different bookstores, different cities, I ended up finding the first book in the Velvet series. So this is The Velvet Promise, again by Jude Deveraux. And this is the only one that I didn't have because I already had one of the other books at home. So this one is so pretty. Love the purple on here and then her dress, just like that medieval goodness, absolutely stunning. Like the pop of her red hair, so gorgeous. This one does not have any like wraparound detail, but it's just so stinking pretty. Like, look at all of these. together. So stunning. So I'm so excited to read this series like later in the fall and winter. I've read Jude Deveraux before, but I'm very excited to get to this series. All right, and then this one's actually been, this author has been on my in search of list. So I always have like different notes on my phone. And so some of them are just like for used bookstores for authors for specific books I'm looking for historical romances. So this is Oriana by Valerie Vayle. This, like I said, this author just has gorgeous, stunning, like I love that up close shot of the heroine and the hero on the cover. Again, we have that wrap around his arm, her hair, and then the back as well just has like a little scenic scene. Just so stunning, so beautiful. Love this one so much. This book, because somebody asked me recently when these books were published, this book was published in 1981. Then these next two, they're both Marcia Canham, so they're part of the same Highlander series by this author. This is, again, another author that I've read, but I've wanted to get to this Highlander series from her because I've heard amazing things. So I was kind of on the search for her books because I have, I think, the second book in this series, as well as a ton of her other books, but this series in particular I wanted to find, and so it happened. So first one is The Pride of Lions. This is the first book in the series. It's a trilogy, and it has this step back moment in here. And this book and book two, they actually follow the same couple, so it's kind of like book one ends. It's kind of like a duet within this trilogy. So book one and two follow the same couple. I already had book two, but this is the first book. And then the third book in the series, this one follows a different couple. So this is Midnight Honor. I love the dark green tartan on here with the gold. And then here is the step back for this one. Like I mentioned, these are Highlander romances, and I'm very excited to get to this trilogy. I know a ton of friends who have read historical romances for years swear by this series, so I'm very, very excited. All right, next I have a whole stack that my book bestie sent me, so let's get into these. First up, she had an extra of Tender Rebel by Joanna Lindsey, which is one that I actually did not have a copy of in my Joanna Lindsey collection. So this is part of her Mallory Anderson series. I believe it's book two, I want to say. And this is one that I definitely want to continue on in the series because I loved the first book so much, which look at the heroine, her hair just like taking over practically like a quarter of the page. Love it. The gorgeous rage typography with the gold on there, just so stinking pretty. So I can't wait to read this one. So it says that she was an exquisite Scottish heiress with an urgent need for the safety of marriage, her only protection from a villainous cousin and every other fortune-hunting scoundrel who coveted her flame-haired beauty and her vast fortune. He was everything she'd been warned against, a ruthlessly handsome English rogue whose brazenly sensual blue eyes spoke of pleasure beyond imagining. How she wished she dared to love such a man, to believe the whispered murmurings of his passionate promise, and to follow the enchanting dream, ... This one I've been wanting to get to for a while. I love the Mallory Anderson series, like the first book that I read, and I've been meaning to continue on for years. So I'm so glad to finally have a copy of the second book in the series. All right, and then we have Penelope Williamson. This is Keeper of the Dream. I'm gonna guess this one is set in Wales based off of the flag we have here on the cover. This is another author that I have collected her books for years. And so my book bestie, she had an extra of this one, and we both have been collecting this author for a while, so she sent me her extra. Look how stinking stunning this beautiful medieval step back is. Absolutely so pretty. It's actually blurbed on here by Catherine Coulter. Love that. So pretty. Like I mentioned, this is an author that I have been collecting her books for years. And this one just so beautiful. The gold, the red is stunning. The flag on here continues on the back. Just so stinking pretty. All right, and then I think the rest of the stack that she sent me are all Mary Balogh books because I've been collecting this author and she knew that. So she was always on the search for ones from me or sent me extras and all the things. So let's get into these. First up is A Gift of Daisies. So beautiful. This is an author that I love her books. They're just very like comforting, very low angst kind of historical romances. This one's so stinking pretty. I love her old school like covers. They're just so beautiful, very short. This one is Secrets of the Heart. It's just so beautiful. I wish it had like a step back with that like cutout situation, but it does not. Which a few other books that I have from this like, what is it, Super Signet or Signet Super Regency collection have these like circle cutouts with the oval on the back. So just a vibe. Next, this one looks so beautiful. This is The Secret Pearl, again by Mary Balogh. So beautiful. I just love how like so much is happening in the background in here with other side characters. Just the detail of the art on these is so stinking beautiful. Then we have Daring Masquerade. Again, another gorgeous one. I love the pink on here and the dreamy, like kind of almost watercolor look of the background. And the floral, just so beautiful with just that pop of pink that matches her dress for the spine and the back of the book. So pretty. Just look at her face on here. So beautiful. This is a Pinot, I believe. Yes. The artist signature is right there. So beautiful. All right, and then these two are part of a trilogy that I've actually read from Mary Balogh as well. So first one we have is Web of Love. So beautiful. This series has gotten like newer covers, but I was on the search to complete this older vibe because I think they're just absolutely stunning and beautiful. So she was able to find these and send them to me. So that is that one. Then The Devil's Web as well, part of that same trilogy that I just showed. So pretty. Again, the pop of pink with her dress that matches the floral, which matches the font. Just so beautiful. A little like wrap around and then it goes into purple. All right, so those are all the ones that she sent me, and then the rest are ones that I found at local used bookstores. All right, so you guys know I've been obsessed with Judith McNaught lately, and so I have been collecting a ton of hers that either I didn't have or I wanted like additional copies of because I am that obsessed. So first up is Until You. This one I actually did not have a copy of yet, so this one is so stunning. I actually found it on a road trip that I was on when I was actually reading the ebook of this, and so I'm so glad I found it at the local used bookstore I was at while I was reading it. I thought that was so fun. This one is like has a cutout here, so it's not in the best shape, which I'm the type of collector who if I find a better edition, an earlier edition that's in good condition, I will always then collect that one and like make sure my collection is just like beautiful books. So I'm definitely on the hunt for an edition that isn't cut out, but in the meantime, I will keep this one because I love this book so much. So Until You, I love the pearl in here. I'm a pearl girl. My wedding ring is a pearl. I love wearing pearls. So I love that. And I just love like the look of the font, like that holographic, almost a vibe to it. So stinking beautiful. Like I mentioned, I am just absolutely obsessed with Judith McNaught books lately. I've been diving through her backlist and reading them all, and this one was 5 stars for me. I love it so much. Her books work for me. She's an author who works for me so well. Like I cannot shout about her books enough. All right, and then the next one is Once and Always. So this one I picked up this edition because I didn't have it. I do have this edition of it already. This one is actually one that I just read recently as well and gave 5 stars to. And so I had this original edition, but like I mentioned, she's like my favorite author now, so I've been wanting to collect all of her books in different editions. So I found this one at a used bookstore and could not pass it up. So it just has like the floral, and then we have like the pop of red on the kind of like embossed font as well. So that one is Once and Always. Then these next two are part of her like contemporary series, which I have not read, and I didn't have any of their books yet. So first one we have is Perfect. So again, this one I picked it up and it kind of matches the vibe of Once and Always. So I'm not mad about like having multiple editions because these ones kind of match it, even though they're not part of the same series. They're just like part of the same vibe. So first one is Perfect. Like I mentioned, it has the pop of purple on that embossed font and then like the floral on here. And I think, is this the one? And yes, with like a gold chain kind of necklace around there as well. These ones are very chunky. I have not read this contemporary series yet, but I've heard good things and I'm definitely going to read them. And then the next one that I have is Paradise. So this one is a similar style to Perfect that I just showed. So this one has the darker blue background and then it has like that kind of magenta, pop of purpley pink underneath the embossed font. And then again, we have the floral, and then this one has a pearl necklace on it. So this one's really pretty as well. I think this is the one that I've heard people say they love in this contemporary series, but I could be wrong. But either way, I'm gonna get to all of her books eventually. And then the last Judith McNaught one that I have is Whitney My Love. So this is a different edition that I didn't have because I do have the like original Whitney My Love cover with the gorgeous art on it. But since that is now one of my favorite historical romances, I just want to collect any edition I can get. And that book has actually been re-edited, so there's a newer version out there with extended chapters at the end of the book, as well as some of the scenes and wording, I should say, has been changed in the updated book. So this version actually has the newer chapters in it. So I wanted to grab this one because this one, like I mentioned, it has the newer chapters at the end of the book, as well as the edits that were done in the book. So I wanted a newer version of the paperback because obviously my original paperback doesn't have the changes and the edits, and I just wanted like a physical form of those changes as well. You know what I mean? So wanted this version of Whitney My Love as well. So it's just so floppy and beautiful and like, ugh, I just love her book so much. She's an author that really works for me. I know she doesn't work for everybody, and she's an author that I wouldn't recommend to everybody. It would really depend on like your very like nuance niche of like what you enjoy in books. So I love her books to pieces though, so I'm so glad to have any edition of her books that I can find. Also, like I mentioned, all of these books I have found at local used bookstores, so I didn't have to go out of my way to find these. I didn't find them online. I'm sure you could find a lot of these books online and like pay for shipping and get them to you if you don't have like great used bookstores around you. But thankfully I have not had to do that. And I just love kind of the search and the hunt and the thrill of finding books at local used bookstores. So it's one of my favorite things to do. And so these are just books that I either had a trade credit at places or I got them for very, very discounted. So I am not mad about having multiple copies of my favorites. All right, and then these next two are both by Laurie McBain, which is another historical romance author that I have been obsessed with and loving this month. First of all, these both have the red original like paperback editions and they're so stinking pretty. So first up is Moonstruck Madness. This is one that I have actually already talked about in my, I think was it my July mid-month wrap-up? Did I only read this book in July? Read this book earlier on in July and loved it. This book I actually already had a copy of it, but some of these books that are just so beautiful and stunning, and I know like friends who are collecting these books as well or on the hunt, I will grab them when I find them at used bookstores, and so I did that. So this is Moonstruck Madness. So this is like a special edition cover that was made for her book back in the 70s. So this book was originally published in 1977. It's so good. It's actually on Kindle Unlimited, and I love this one. A Scottish lady turned highway woman. It's so good. I loved this book to pieces. Very like old school, but in her books, the like consent was a huge conversation at the time because there's like good consent on page with her books, with her heroes. And so love that so much, as well as it was just like full of adventure and fun. So I loved this one. You can hear me rave about it more in my July mid-month wrap up, as well as I recently did a like historical romance favorites of the year so far. And so I gushed about it in there as well. But this one, okay, let's get back to the cover. Just absolutely stunning. I love the cover artist who has done this book as well as a few of these others. And again, just that full wraparound effect. Like this is the end of the horse's tail. So pretty. We have the like cottage scene in the back. It's just, ugh, so stunning. I love it so much. And then the second Laurie McBain is Tears of Gold. This is one that I want to read soon. So pretty. This is like a standalone. So we have this gorgeous red and like, look how detailed everything happening in this is. The pirate ship, we have a guy on a horse, like the couple, just so windswept hair, like it's beautiful. And then it kind of carries around. We have this gorgeous shot of this woman on the spine as well. Absolutely stunning. And then we continue on and the back has just like more going on everywhere. Look at these beautiful scenes. Him carrying her, like, can you even? Because I definitely cannot. Down here, their embrace. So stunning. Like, what do you even look at? The red, it's beautiful. I cannot wait to read this one. This author, she actually only published for 10 years before she ended up retiring. At like the height of her career, her father, who was like super beloved to her, passed away. And so she retired in 1985 after only publishing for 10 years. Multiple books of hers had over 1 million copies sold at the time. She was like a super big deal. She's like basically like a great grandmother of historical romance. She was one of the first authors who started writing in the newer like historical romance style that Kathleen Woodowitz did. So she was like a big deal at the time, and I love her books so much. So I've had great fun with them and cannot wait to read all of them because she doesn't have very many. I think she only has 8. I've read 2, 3 so far, so I'm excited to continue on. All right, and then the last one that I have to share, this one was actually one of my 5-star reads that I read this month. And then I just so happened to stop at a local like thrift store / used bookstore. Happened to stop there just on a whim, and this was the only book I found there, and it was perfect because I had just read it the previous week and wanted a physical copy with a step back. So I'm so excited to have it. So this is Morning Glory by Laverle Spencer. So beautiful. The blue on here with the gorgeous floral of the Morning Glories as well. And it has a step back. It's so beautiful. So stinking cute. I love the like cutout of the page on here as well. Like I mentioned, this is one that I just read in July and loved it. One of my 5-star reads and one of my new all-time favorite historical romances. So finding a copy like at the local used bookstore on a whim was very kismet. I am so glad I found this version. So this one is so good. This is set in 1941 where the heroine is actually a widowed single mom, and she has 2 sons as well as a baby on the way. And she puts an ad in the newspaper for a husband to help with her land, her farm, her house, just like the upkeep of life. And so the hero, he's actually an ex-con who is kind of having a hard time finding a job, getting food for money. Like he's very much struggling. And so he sees the ad and decides to answer it. And then it goes from there. And if you're somebody who loves historical romances like I do, that very like sweepingly romantic, tender, sweet, beautiful, like epic storytelling and romances, this book you definitely have to read. I had been recommended this one for years and I'm so glad I finally got to it. I totally get the hype now. I've continued on and read a couple more from this author now and I'm obsessed, but this is definitely my favorite. So I'm so glad to have this edition of A Morning Glory. All right, so that is my historical romance haul. Hopefully you enjoyed. These are books that I could talk about for ages and showcase. I definitely want to do more videos where I show a bunch that I have in my collection because I have hundreds of historical romances. So I definitely want to do some more videos of that, just like showcasing them, talking about them, all the things, because I'm obsessed. So hopefully you enjoyed this video as well. Those are just my recent, I think 25-ish that I had to haul to then put on my shelves. So hopefully you enjoyed that. Let me know if you've read any of these. If you've read any of the ones that I talked about that I haven't read yet, definitely let me know that as well. If you're going to pick up any of the books that I gushed about, let me know that too. If you have any favorite historical romance authors, I would love to know. I'm always looking for more recommendations. Like I mentioned, I recently did my favorite historical romances that I read so far this year. I did a video of that a week ago, so I will link that below. So if you want to go check that out and hear me gush about some of these that I talked about even further, as well as all the historical romances I've loved this year, definitely go check out that. I have a historical romance playlist below. I have all the historical romance content because it's my favorite thing ever. So hopefully you enjoyed. If you want to leave me an emoji instead to let me know that you watched the video today, leave me a red heart because of these gorgeous red sprayed edges. So leave me just a simple red heart in the comments. And if you haven't done so yet, make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!